guys. I'm Nina,
I'm Jamie.
and we are Bloody Essentials. Ethan is not with us tonight. He is fulfilling his dreams of being in a horror movie at the moment.
And we are so happy for him and want to hear all the deeds, but that'll have to come later.
Yes, at the moment he is currently sewing his head back on. So hopefully he'll be back with us next week. So
Yeah.
shout out to our Patreon members, Rick Paulton, Swift, and David Green. Guys, thank you so much for supporting the show. It really means a lot to us. And more importantly, we're just happy to, call you our friends. So thank you guys.
You guys are awesome.
Yes. We will be at Flashback Week in Chicago, August 1st through the 3rd. It's going to be a great time. All of us are going to be there. And, Robert Englund's going to be there. All the Terrifier peeps are going to be there. It's going to be a great time. And you're just not going to want to miss it. So, yep. If you see us out there, come out, say hello, get a drink, come chat and let's talk horror.
Yeah. Take a picture with us. Tell us your favorite scary movie, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yes. Tonight we are discussing The Boy from 2016. Jamie, have you seen this movie before tonight?
I have seen it once before. And I'm
Okay.
trying to remember when I saw it. I think I just kind of picked it because I'm like, ooh, that's a creepy looking little doll. He's pretty, So I was like, I'll give it a try. I'm always up for some kind of doll in a movie. So
Yes.
yeah.
I
How about you?
don't remember if I saw this in theaters. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I do remember seeing it pretty fast after it came out. And I was just intrigued by the trailer. I thought it looked fun. And the
Yeah.
doll looked very unique compared to
Yes.
other dolls in horror. You don't really see a porcelain type doll, right?
Totally. That's what I mean when I say he's really beautiful,
Yeah.
gorgeous design for the doll. And you do
Mhm.
not see them like that every day in a horror movie. No.
Yeah. So I think we should just get into it and then we'll save our thoughts for the end, right?
Yeah, let's do this.
Cool. All right. So if I leave anything out, feel free to jump in, okay?
I got you.
There's a lot of stuff happening right off the bat here. So Greta, our main character, she is arriving at the Heelshire home. British people and their names. That's weird.
I know. And I do have to, before we even really get into it, I just want to say that this movie cinematically is really, really gorgeous.
Yeah.
So, this whole, even the drive to the place is really beautiful. They're in this car, it's all wooded. There's a grand, introduction to this mansion too, with the big gate opening. And yeah, just have to say, overall, this movie has a really gorgeous cinematic look.
Yeah, very gothic horror-esque, am I right?
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Which is always kind of fun. One of my favorites.
I'm never mad at that.
Yeah. And she's kind of wandering the house, and we see this family portrait right away, and we assume that this is the family that owns the house, right? You've got
Yeah.
mom, the dad, and this little boy. And she starts wandering the house and all this, and then she stumbles into Malcolm, who is the grocer. He delivers groceries to the family. So
yeah. So we got some ingredients for maybe a little love story in here because grocery man Malcolm, I think is what I named him. The first reference is a grocery man Malcolm. He's definitely kind of flirting it up a little bit with her.
Oh yeah. His A game is strong. It's really cute and very charming.
Oh, he does a chewing gum reading for her, which I think is adorable and so funny because I love I always pretend I can palm read, so I'll be like, give me your hand, let me see, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's crazy right there, that's crazy good. But I love the fact that he's like, oh no, I read chewing gum, let me have it.
Yeah, it's really cute, and he hits a little too close to home in one of his predictions, so
He
she
does.
quickly changes the subject.
Yeah, and then us as the audience, we're sitting here like, oh, does she have something dark in her past that she's trying to escape?
Yep, that was written in my notes. And we end up meeting Mr. and Mrs. Heelshire. I'm gonna say it wrong the whole episode.
I just called them Mr. and Mrs. H.
I like that, Mr. and Mrs. H. It makes it sound more elusive, right?
Yes.
They introduce themselves. Mrs. H, not too fond of Greta right off the bat, right? She's like, oh, where are your shoes? Because Greta, as most Americans do, we take off our shoes when we enter a home, right? So as not to track dirt or whatever. Some people are weird about it. So she just assumed to take off her shoes.
Yeah, she's trying
Not,
to be polite.
not in England. That is not nice for them.
No, Mrs. H was like, "How dare
Dare
you?"
How dare you wear your striped socks in my house?
Bloody unacceptable.
Man, I wish Ethan was here.
I know. Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. So they introduce themselves, and we end up meeting Brahms, and it's revealed that he is not a real boy.
No, he is not a real boy. He is not the boy in the family portrait.
Yes, or is he?
Oh.
Hmm.
I was gonna say, well.
Yes, it's really funny how they introduce him because you see Mr. H kind of chatting to Brahms, and you can't see Brahms initially, and then he's like, "And now meet our son Brahms," and she's like, "You're kidding, right?" Or like she's like, "What?"
And you look at Mr. and Mrs. H, and they are not laughing. Like they are 100% serious that Brahms is their son, and
Yes.
not a just a doll.
Yes. And I love that Malcolm is there to kind of break the ice and is like shaking Brahms's hand, and then it kind of puts Greta like, okay, this is a thing everybody's aware of and knows about, so I guess I'm playing along for the next 12 hours here at least.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, this is just, I guess I'm just going to follow everybody's lead. I mean, I guess that's what I would do in the situation too, is be like, okay, so we're all, okay, this is the reality we're all living in right now. All
Yeah.
right.
I mean, you came all the way from America,
Yeah.
possibly on their dime. I'm just playing along. I want to hear all of this craziness out, right?
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, she needs somewhere to stay. So it's like, well, I better not like insult them and be like, oh, are you kidding? Obviously
Yeah.
they're not. So,
Clearly not, and she's got things that she's trying to get away from, it seems like, so,
yes,
yes. So Mrs. H goes over the rules and Brahms' schedule, which is very strict and very precise, right?
very regimented.
Yes, and, things like he always has to have a kiss goodnight, put him to bed, he has to be woken up at this time, music, poetry, all of this stuff, and
Yeah.
Mr. H, he speaks with Greta and he kind of lets her know, like, whatever it may look like on the outside, our son is here. So he kind of acknowledges the elephant in the room a little bit.
He does, yeah. They're like collecting dead rats from traps, and he's like, I know it seems weird, basically, but
Yeah.
our son is here.
He's here and respect that, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mrs. H informs Greta that Brahms has approved of her, so she has permission to stay. And we hear Greta speaking with her sister, Sandy. I assume
I
it's her
think
sister.
so.
Yeah. And they're talking on the phone, and basically we kind of find out more about Greta, what's going on. She needs the money. Greta's ex is looking for her. He was not very nice to her in the past. And he's very dangerous, apparently. So,
Yeah. He sounds like a bad guy. I mean, if you literally like flee to another country to get away from a person who's still looking for you, that's a pretty big
pretty,
sign.
yeah, for sure. So, and it's not like it's a major city. He'd really have to be looking hard. So,
Yeah.
smart on her, I guess, to find this job. So,
Yeah, and it makes it all the more like it makes it all make more sense too why she needs the job so bad and why she's like willing to. But honestly, I mean, it sounds like good money and you get a place to stay. If all I had to do was like watch a doll, I
yeah,
mean, I would probably do it. It's a little weird, but I'd be like, you know what? Obviously, there's some kind of grief going on here. There's something that is causing this, right? Like
yeah,
they're just having a human response to something, and she doesn't know the details yet. But
for sure.
I'd probably do it.
Yeah, I would too, especially when Sandy mentions that it's more money than she makes in a week
Yeah,
or a month. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm like, all right. Like, you got to stay in this nice home. Your food is provided for, all this stuff. Like, just watch the damn doll.
Exactly. How hard can it be, right?
Right? Yeah. It's funny watching this movie with other people because that was not the same reaction that,
Oh my God.
that other people had watching this. They're like, yeah, I would have been out. I would have left as soon
Oh
as I
my
got the doll
gosh.
introduction. I was like,
I mean, honestly, between you and me, this sounds like a pretty sweet gig because
yeah.
it's not that hard to take care of a doll, apparently,
It's
you
like a
know? I mean,
step below pet sitting. Like,
yeah. I'm taking
uh,
it. Like, if Greta doesn't want the job, like, tag me in.
oh yeah, okay. Let's see if you're singing that same tune later.
Yeah.
Okay. So we find out the H's are leaving on holiday and they've printed out a schedule and Mr. H says, be good to him and he will be good to you. That's not creepy. Not
Yeah,
at
I
all.
know. Mhm. I know. Maybe this is the point where I'd be like thinking about things a little bit more, where it's like, this is a big
All
enough house
alone.
to be like creepy and like haunted feeling, and maybe there is something more to this stall.
This is definitely a castle. Like, this is Downton Abbey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ripe for hauntings.
Yeah, very much so. And then if that wasn't enough of a red flag, Mrs. H gives her a hug and she's like, I'm so sorry, as she's crying. And then she's like shoved off by Mr. H, like, Greta,
What's
you, sh-
happening?
you sure you don't want to go back to the airport? Yeah. So
Yeah.
Greta and Brahms are now alone. And she just kind of places him on a chair and covers him with a blanket. And I love how she's like, no offense, Brahms, but you kind of creep me out.
I know. It's so relatable and very cute.
Very cute, yeah. And she kind of falls asleep. She makes herself a sandwich, she falls asleep, and then she wakes up and it's evening. Those are the best kind of naps when you like fall asleep in the afternoon, you wake up and it's dark out, like you know you got good sleep.
I know. I think she had like a glass of wine too, and she had just had a
Completely untouched.
sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's a nice nap though. Very.
It's a really nice nap. And she gets up and she discovers that Brahms is still in the chair, but he's uncovered now. Hmm.
Creepy. And I will
Yeah.
say there's a beautiful shot there too, like where you see him like with the blanket, right? But then like she walks past the hallway. I think she's like getting her wine or her sandwich or whatever. And I just have to say, oh, it was such a pretty shot.
Oh, yeah. No, the cinematography in this movie is incredible. Absolutely breathtaking.
It is.
So Greta is not messing around. She just throws him in his bedroom, right? Just throws him in his chair and closes the door.
And it's like, okay, I get it, but be careful. He's made out of porcelain.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that he didn't break, to be honest. I was like, that's really forceful. Like,
I know.
yeah.
Got to keep this doll in one piece if you're going to do this job.
Yeah. You have to make sure you get all the money to make sure it's really worth
Yeah.
it. So Greta hears crying and she goes to check it out and she's examining this family portrait and Brahms' arm just kind of reaches out and grabs her and it's turns out it's a dream, right?
Yep.
And then she continues to hear crying and she goes to investigate, this time to a place that makes more sense, which is to Brahms' room.
Yes.
And
Start
she's,
there.
yeah, not the hallway. Don't go downstairs. Like maybe
Nope.
check the bedroom. Yeah. And it's so funny. She sees water on his face, almost like he's crying. And she goes to touch it. And, you know, you can kind of see the gears turning. And then all of a sudden you see that the ceiling is leaking, like water's coming from the attic, right?
I thought that was really clever, by the way. Like, I thought it looked cool and it was fun because, you know, you can tell that she's kind of starting to question it herself, like feeling
Yeah.
the weirdness. It's kind of getting to her, but then she's like, oh, shit, what am I doing? Like, it's just a leak. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Greta calls Sandy and she leaves a voicemail. And she gets a call immediately back. And she assumes it's Cole, her ex, but I don't know. Like, is it? Because it was like really fast, you know? Yeah,
It was. It's sus.
it's very sus. Yeah.
It's
So the next
supernatural
day,
sus.
very supernatural sus. Yeah. So the next day, she asks Malcolm about Brahms, right? And he basically explains that the real Brahms died in a fire when he was like 8. And Mr. and Mrs. H have lived with the doll Brahms for 20 years. So this is like it suddenly just appeared one day, and this is just how they've been living ever since, right?
Yeah, and I'm immediately like, where did the doll come from?
Yeah,
But
yeah. Where did we get the doll? Like,
yeah,
was there like a, because this was before the internet. So, like, did they go to flea markets? Did they go to news stores to look for this doll? Like, specifically in
yeah.
mind? Was he specially made? Because he does look a lot like the original Brahms in the portrait. So,
I was gonna say he looks a lot like the boy, so it's like, yeah, did they just go searching? Yeah, like you said, estate sales and like fairs and stuff, art fairs to find him, or yeah, is there someone? Yeah, where
we
did he
need a
come from?
prequel. Where did
Oh
he go?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And during this, Malcolm finds a way to sneak it in that he has a thing for Greta and he wants to take her out. Because it's not creepy that, this whole story, and then, hey, you look lonely.
Yeah, I know that you're alone in this house with this creepy doll. How about I get you out of here for a little bit on a date with me?
It's all an elaborate scheme.
I know. He's like, I planted the doll. I hired you. I just really need a date. No.
um, so she agrees, and she's on the phone with her sister later on that evening, and she sees Brahm in the mirror sitting on her bed, right? Kind of creepy because it's like, how did he get there?
Yep.
And she just is like, whatever, like somebody's just messing with me, right? So Greta, she takes a shower, and she notices while she's washing her hair that some of her hair has been cut. Okay, some
Creepy.
strands are very short. They're not, you know when your hair has been freshly cut.
And can I just say that does seem like something that would be very, very scary. Okay, that happens in movies occasionally, happens in I Know What You Did Last Summer. But I've always thought, how scary would it be to notice that somebody has cut your hair?
When
That'd be
you're living
scary.
alone
With
in
a
a
doll.
house with a doll. I've got several dolls, but they've never done that to me, so I don't know.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
gonna say none of my collectibles. I wouldn't suspect any of my collectibles. Like we're cool, but
yeah,
I don't
we're
know about
cool.
that doll.
Yeah. Where was I? Okay,
Oh,
so
the shower.
the shower. So she gets out of the shower. She notices that her necklace that she set out and the dress are missing. And Brahms is gone from the bed. And all of her clothes are gone. Dressers, everything, even socks are gone. Like,
Yep,
impressive.
creepy.
Yeah. So Greta goes to the attic. First off, she tried to get in earlier and she wasn't able to. It was like locked, right?
Yeah,
But now the ladder is conveniently down, and that doesn't just happen, right? You have to, this is an old one where the ladder folds out. Like, you have to pull on that thing to get it down.
yeah. You have
Yeah.
to use a stick to
The
like
stick and
hook the
everything.
thing, and yeah, it's not easy.
It's not. It's really heavy to pull down. So she goes up into the attic, and then like she makes like one step forward and the whole ladder goes up behind her, and she's locked in there. She cannot get out.
Cannot get out at all.
Yeah. And I don't know about you. I've never been had the ladder closed up on me before, so I don't know, but I feel like you could push it down. No?
Okay, so Tucson doesn't really have a lot of attics, so I
Okay.
haven't really had a lot of attic experience like in my life at all. I'd love to go in an attic. They seem very creepy and fun. No,
They're
but so
not.
yeah, I was like, maybe not, but like, I don't know. I would think like logically there should be a way for you to be able to push it open because
Right.
I mean, it could accidentally, close up. So you would think there would be a
Yeah.
fail safe there, where it's like if there's a way to push it open.
Yeah. You
But
would
when
think.
there's forces at play
That's fair.
that we
Yeah.
don't know all the story yet,
That's
maybe
true. That's
there's
true.
something going
Yes.
on.
But for attic enthusiasts, if you know, please tell us because I've been in an attic before similar to that, but it never closed on me, thank goodness. So I've never experienced this and I need to know. Like I feel like you could just push it down, but again, there are ulterior motives at play. We don't know everything that's going on fully yet, so maybe it's
We don't.
supernatural.
But seriously, attic people, attic dwellers, let us know how they work.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not as nice as this. Most attics are unfinished, Jamie, and it's just insulation, just so you know.
True,
It's not
true.
this exciting.
Aw, I was gonna
I
say
know.
that's not the creepy attic of my dreams.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Damn
they're
it.
they're not always as nice as the ones in Black Christmas.
Because I was gonna say, I mean, that's a pretty
That's
great
the
attic up
ultimate
there.
attic,
Yeah.
yeah. So she's locked in the attic. Malcolm shows up and he's looking for her and he can't find her, right? And she's banging on the windows and he cannot hear her because she's like on like the sixth floor of this castle and it's raining. There's no way
Yeah.
there's no way.
He's only a human being, He doesn't have supersonic hearing.
Listen, as Tammy Wynette says, he's just a man, okay?
Yes.
I had to. I had to.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
perfect.
So Greta's kind of frustrated and she turns around and she sees what appears to be a figure in the dark and she falls backward, bumps her head, knocks herself out, right?
Yep.
Convenient.
Yeah, very convenient.
Yeah. Next day, she wakes up, she's still in the attic, and she finds out that the figure she thought she saw was just a suit hanging up because people store their old clothes hanging up like that.
Hey, I mean, again, not very experienced with attics. So,
I know,
attic
I'm
people, what do
sorry.
you keep in your attic? um, yeah, but like, I feel like, you know what? I'm the type of person, I feel like I could get scared by like a suit or like a thing that was just there in the dark and totally fall and hurt myself. So,
Yeah, very
I'm
true.
with her on that one. I feel like I could
Plus
do that.
plus, like, your imagination is running rampant, so you
Yes.
see things that aren't there. And
Totally.
while she's looking through the attic, she finds photos of the real Brahms.
And he looks a little creepy.
He's very creepy, like Omen
Mm-hmm.
creepy.
You say very omen-esque.
Omen-esque for sure, yeah. He definitely had a nanny that was willing to do it all for him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the ladder is down, the attic has been unlocked, and her clothes have been returned. So,
Hmm.
hmm,
Gosh, it's a little mystery.
yeah,
Little
indeed.
Scooby-Doo
I
situation
know, I
there.
was just thinking that, get the whole mystery gang involved.
Yeah.
Uh,
Jinkies.
so Greta fills in Malcolm, doesn't want him to think that she stood him up or anything, and they're playing pool. And I love this little dialogue between them because he's like, there's two types of talk in this town. Um, there's the town talk or the what was it?
I think it's like the nice talk or the friendly
The
talk or
friendly
something like
talk.
that.
There's the friendly talk and then there's the pub talk.
Yes.
Yeah. I wrote down pub talk, but I didn't.
I
Oh,
wrote down
polite
pub talk.
talk.
Polite. I
Talk.
knew it was something like,
Yes.
yeah.
Polite talk and pub talk. Polite talk was that he was a lovely lad and taken too soon. And pub talk, he wasn't so lovely and was quite weird, in fact.
Yeah.
He's really censoring it for us, but yeah.
And that that kid has to be weird if people in a pub, like adults who are drinking, are
Are
talking
still
about how
talking about it.
strange this kid is.
Still talking about it 20 years later. Am I right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's got to be pretty big, you know what I mean? Because that's not the typical combo I'm having at pubs.
Yeah. And he's
Yeah,
definitely
that
not
weird
telling her
kid who did these
everything.
things. Yeah.
Yeah. Malcolm talks about the time he spoke to Mr. H about the real Brahms, and he was like, "What was he like?" or whatever, and Mr. H just said he was odd.
Yeah, which is pretty creepy and pretty telling if the dad is like all drunk and he's like, "Sit with me, I need to open my soul." And he's like, "What was he like?" Odd.
Just
That's
odd.
very ominous. That's not how
Okay.
most people describe their child.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah. And if they do,
um,
you say it like, "Oh, he's odd. He's an oddball in a fun way. He's
yeah,
quirky."
he's quirky. Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
say odd,
Odd.
just in a very strange, creepy way, right?
Yeah.
Greta's on the phone with her sister again, and she finds out that Cole came by demanding to know where Greta was because he wants to write her a letter, apparently, and they ended up giving her address to him, which is so stupid. Like, you know how he is. Why would you do this? Like, you just
That
want him
is
to
like
leave? Call the police.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And it's like, first of all, you guys are breaking like the friend, family, and just human code here of like looking out for and protecting somebody who's obviously been through an abusive relationship. Like,
Yep.
obviously. It's like the last thing I would ever do is give that person her information, and
Yeah.
I would be calling the police.
Calling the police, like they could torture me, they could beat me up, they could kill me. It would not happen. You couldn't get that address from me.
I
Period.
would never
I
give it.
wouldn't
Yeah.
I wouldn't have it written down anywhere, nothing.
Nope.
Like, just I'm sorry, horrible person, Sandy.
I know. It's like, what the? Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Breaking the
Uh,
code.
totally breaking the code. Anyways, that night Greta's having dreams about Brahms, and like he's got the list scattered all over the room or whatever, and then she wakes up and she finds Brahms sitting in his bed with the list neatly stacked next to him.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of fun. Hi, everybody. Just wanted to thank all of you guys for listening and supporting the podcast. If you haven't already, please follow us, like us, leave us a review. Little things like this can really help the podcast out so much. Also, if you want to hear your name mentioned in our episodes at the beginning and receive fun little goodies from the entire Bloody Essentials team, you can join our Patreon. It's 100% like no commitment. All the proceeds go back into the podcast. It helps us upgrade our recording equipment, our editing software, all those good things. And it also helps pay for our travel expenses with our upcoming appearances. So that can add up really fast, but we're looking to hopefully expand to other conventions and going to other states to see spooky attractions. So funds like that will help significantly. Also, I don't know if you guys know, but before we can actually like start receiving funds through YouTube and things like that, as creators, as horror creators, we need at least 500 followers on YouTube. So if you aren't already following us, but you listen to us and you really like our content, please like us, subscribe. It really helps out so much and it allows us to keep doing what we're doing. So we love bringing horror to you each week, whether it's content creators, our thoughts on a film. So we really want to keep doing this for as long as possible. And money is unfortunately a big way to stay on top of that. So, like I said, all of your support really means a lot, and you get fun little goodies from all of us. We got Bloody Essentials merch, we got horror goodies that we've been saving for you guys, whether it's stickers, horror collectibles, like I'm talking like shirts from your favorite horror companies, Fright Rags, all those good places. And then, of course, we've got some NECA figures and all those kinds of things. So if you want to receive fun horror goodies from your Bloody Essentials crew, join our Patreon. It's going to be a really good time. We also have a Discord channel and unedited episodes before they air. So that's always exciting. And we're hoping to be doing movie parties really soon. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, just thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll get back to the show now. And she's just like freaking out at this point because she's like, I cannot deal with this anymore. Like, things are moving on their own. This is creepy. She locks herself in her bedroom and she's just crying. The phone keeps ringing and it's like that old telephone ring, and
Oh, yeah.
We hear Brahms's voice for the first time.
We do.
Yes, and he's promising to be good if she'll just play with him and be nice to him.
I think, yeah, and it's like, she has not been following the rules and she has not been doing anything on the list. He likes his opera music and he likes it loud, and he has not had any of it.
And he is not having it.
Oh no.
So, yeah. And it's funny because, like, you see him walking outside
Hmm.
the
You
room,
see it
and
under the door. Yeah, you see like his
yeah,
feet kind of, or something move. You see something
something,
move.
you see movement, yeah. And she's stupid enough to go outside, and I'm sorry, I've never seen somebody so excited over a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that has been made by them by a supernatural doll.
Oh my god. I love a PB&J as much as the next person, but it's also like, yeah, I'm going to need a lot more than a PB&J to like accept this situation or come out of my room in this situation. It's just not going to do it for me.
Yeah, yeah, and she's, like, ecstatic, she's, like, picking
I
him
know.
up and holding him, and she's like, "This is what you want? Okay," like,
She's like, "Well, I didn't know that there was peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in it for me, so that changes everything. Let's turn on that opera music."
"Let's get you some music, Brahms." Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so funny.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's like she's, like, hyperventilating, panic attack, and then all of a sudden just happy, crying, like,
Sandwich.
sandwich. She was just hangry, he knew.
Yeah, I mean, hey, but we've all had those moments, I guess. But again, I'm gonna need more than a PB&J in this situation.
For sure. So, uh, flash forward out of the castle, we find out what Mr. and Mrs. H are up to. We see them writing
Uh-oh.
a letter, they look very upset, and they
Very
put
gross.
rocks in their pockets and walked off into the ocean, never to be seen or heard from again.
Yep. What a way to go out. They just drown
Yeah,
themselves
they drown
quietly,
themselves.
peacefully.
That is quite the suicide, if you ask me. That's not a gentle, easy death at all. I don't know if anybody knows this, but it takes, like, 6 minutes to fully drown, just
I
so
was
you
gonna
know.
say it is not a pleasant it's not a pleasant thing.
No.
And it's like, wow, they really went for it. They
Yeah.
must be feeling some hard feelings.
They clearly don't want to be found, is what it
Yeah.
seems like, yeah.
Yeah.
Even after death, yeah. Fascinating.
Yeah.
We're back at the castle with Greta, and her and Brahms are, like,
Oh.
best buds. Like, you cannot separate these 2, am I right?
Oh my god, yeah, play some great, like, best friend music right there. I can tell we're gonna be friends. Some or like, "You're my best friend
Yes.
I ever had." Yeah, no, they're totally having fun together, they're following all the rules, they're doing everything on the list, they're eating together, they're playing music, like, yeah, she's gone full doll person.
Yes, she's obsessed. Malcolm shows up, and he seems concerned with what's
A little bit.
happening.
Little
Yeah.
bit. He's like, "Oh, are you okay?"
Yeah, and she's being very standoffish. She's like, "Nope, not gonna go out with you. I have to watch Brahms." And I love when he's like, "Oh, he'll be all right," and like gives him a little high five, and she's like looking back and forth and like really concerned Brahms is gonna like put a spell on him or something. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's so funny.
Oh,
Oh
it's
my god.
hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. We see that a letter from Mr. and Mrs. H arrives, but Greta doesn't find it. Apparently, it gets taken.
Yeah, and her mind is very on something else, which is Brahms, which is the doll. It's
Yes.
all she cares about at the moment.
Yes. And she has this little heart to heart moment, I guess you'd call it, with Brahms. And she's like crying and she's like, if there's a spirit in this house, show me a sign. And he does.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. What I call the poltergeist test. It's very
Yes,
reminiscent of the poltergeist test.
definitely.
Yeah. So she discovers that he can in fact move on his own, and he shows up in a different place every time. And she shows Malcolm even. She draws like a little chalk outline around his little body, and they close the door and knock on the wall 3 times, and then boom, different place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like the first, she has to like, she really like talks to Brahms to convince him to do it too at one point because she wants to show
Yeah.
Malcolm, and she's like, come on, just do this or whatever, do this for me. And like, I mean, he does.
Yeah.
That doll
He
loves
does.
her too.
He
Maybe.
does love her or likes her
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
might not be a good thing, but
Yeah. He's definitely obsessed with her. Yeah.
yeah.
Malcolm obviously believes her. He sees the doll move. And Greta tells Malcolm about Cole, right? And we learn a little bit more about their relationship. We find out that she was pregnant with Cole's child. She had a miscarriage. So she's very empathetic for Mr. and Mrs. H and Brahms, and she has this very close attachment to Brahms because of this, because this is
Yep.
basically like a second chance for her.
Yeah, and she's like, I understand what it feels like to lose a child. So
Yeah.
she,
And I
she
think
definitely
I think
feels
she's
it.
still grieving herself, so this is kind of a way
Definitely.
for her to help process those feelings too.
Definitely. It explains like why she gets really pulled into it, when she gets the sandwich and stuff and she's sold, she's like she really gets
Yeah,
into it, and I think that's part of the grief that she's still kind of dealing with.
for sure. Yeah. It's a really heartfelt moment. You really
It
feel for Greta.
is.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Malcolm and Greta kiss, and they start to get very friendly.
And it's like, watch out. Somebody
Yeah.
might not like that.
Yeah. Yep. And as I put in my notes, Brahms is not having it.
No.
No. There will be
Greta
no.
is his pretty Greta.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. There will be no naughty time without Brahms.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So she puts him back to bed, and Malcolm is obviously very concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh, I wrote down something funny. Hold on.
oh, please.
No, there's a moment where like it's insinuated that they go get it on basically, but there's like a moment where like Malcolm just stands up and looks at her, and that's before and it's kind of like a "so we doing this" kind of like move. And I just thought that was funny. I wrote it down like, "So we doing this," or
I totally didn't even notice that. Oh my god.
yeah, just
That's
anyway, it was
hilarious.
really silly, but yeah,
That's
he just
great.
stands up in front of her and they don't say anything right away, and I'm like, okay. He's giving her like, so are we doing this?
They didn't know they were rolling yet.
Yeah.
All right. So Malcolm reveals a little bit more to the story, and it's like, why can't you guys just be upfront at the very beginning with all the details? What is this little piece here? Little piece of tea there, little piece of tea here. Give it all or nothing.
Talk about breadcrumbing, right?
Seriously, I swear, men.
Men, I know. It's like, come on, why didn't you tell me this at the beginning? Like, why didn't you warn me about the doll in the first place, man? Like, I met you before I met the family.
We needed creepy old Ralph here in this situation to forewarn us about everything. Where's our creepy old Ralph?
No, tell me
Bullshit.
about it.
Okay, so more details here. Apparently, a little girl named Emily used to come play with the real Brahms once a week, and they found her body in the woods. Police wanted to interrogate Brahms, so they told Mr. and Mrs. H that they were coming. And by the time they arrived at the house was on fire. Mr. and Mrs. H conveniently got outside in time, but Brahms was nowhere to be found.
Because that's not suspicious.
Yeah. But it's like, what can you do?
Yeah.
If you can't prove it, and testing back then wasn't as good as what it is now. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And Brahms was a child, so even if he was considered to be odd, I mean, it would be like people would be like, well, I mean, he's a kid, like maybe it wasn't. And now he's probably died in this horrible fire that was conveniently.
Yeah. It's just an all-around tragedy for the town, basically.
Yes, exactly.
And also, like, nobody wants to think that of a kid being able to kill or hurt anything, right? And this girl
Yeah.
was pretty severely murdered.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. So Greta basically refuses to believe that Brahms would ever hurt her, and she says she's not leaving. Um, and Malcolm is concerned that Brahms is not a good spirit, basically.
Yeah, he's a little wigged.
Yeah, understandably so.
I'd be
But
wigged.
also, like, why didn't you tell her this sooner before
I
he
know.
cock blocked you?
I know. And it's like, dude, I know that you're interested in her, but like you shouldn't use like little pieces of information to keep her hooked, keep her
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
situation.
It's manipulative, one might say.
Yeah. Grocery man Malcolm, we're on to you. I mean, he's not that bad,
It's
guys,
not horrible, but we're
but
just shit talking here.
he should have provided all those details. I was also very frustrated that he was only telling her these little parts now. It's like, you
Yeah,
let me live in this house with this doll, and that's the information you have?
yeah, I would have told her from the beginning that it was at least a doll and not a real kid. Like, that is just a
Yeah,
dick move.
I know.
All right. So Greta, she ends up finding photos of Emily, so she's starting to have some doubts, but doesn't have too much time to think about that because her ex Cole has arrived and he's just every bit as lovely as we pictured.
Oh, yeah, he's a real dick. He really sucks. It makes sense that she went, like, fled to another country to
Yeah,
get
he's
away from him.
crazy. He
Yeah,
is crazy.
very crazy.
He's got her a plane ticket. She is coming back with him. There's no argument. There's no conversation that needs to be had.
Yep.
Um, and Malcolm shows up conveniently. This guy, I swear to God, he's camping outside.
I know, I know.
Yeah, it's like, Mister, you only deliver groceries once a week. What are you doing? You know?
Yeah, because 'cause you've been over a few times this week, sir.
Yeah, yeah. And Greta tells him, "Don't worry, I have a plan to deal with him. If anybody knows how to deal with him, it's me." And I'm like, "Okay, fair."
Yeah.
But yeah, Malcolm goes and camps outside, which I suspect
Yep.
he's been doing this entire movie.
I honestly think he has to.
Yeah. So yeah, Cole tells Greta he's not leaving without her, and then Greta basically has a heart to heart with Brahms, the doll, in her bedroom, and she's like asking him to help her somehow, some way. Please help me.
Yeah, and you know what? Like I get it. She's scared and really like all she has in this moment is Brahms, but it's like also like, ooh, Greta. Greta, you're not quite sure what you're messing with by asking that.
She doesn't fully know what she's asking. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like,
It's like, ooh,
how do you
that could
expect him to help her? Like,
yeah,
how do
that could
you
come together in all kinds of different ways, Greta.
Yeah, it's like, I understand if you just want him to disappear, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just buckle
Anyways,
up. Buckle up, Greta.
buckle up indeed, because it's about to get crazy. Cole wakes up and he finds dead rats in his luggage and a message in blood that says, like, "Get out," right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is fun because he obviously assumes that Greta did this to scare him. Malcolm runs in and Cole breaks the Brahms doll in this beautiful moment.
It's so
Absolutely
cool looking.
gorgeous. Yeah, and immediately when I first saw this movie, I had the thought, "Oh, were his was he cremated? Was Brahms cremated and put into the doll?" Because it looks like there could have been ashes
Ashes.
inside the doll, but it's like, no, that's what happens when porcelain breaks, guys.
And there's another great reason. I mean, there's another like thing that's great about this being a porcelain doll, guys, because now we know what that looks like. I didn't know what a porcelain doll smashing looked like exactly, and it is really glorious. And there is like good tension in that moment too, because
Yeah.
like we were even saying earlier, we were scared the doll was going to break much sooner in the movie. So it's like, oh God, it actually happens.
And it is absolutely gorgeous the way they shoot it. But as soon as the doll breaks, right? Loud noises, lots of creaking, lights are flickering, like Brahms isn't happy.
classic, like, a haunted house situation where the house is going crazy is kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, it sure does. And then all of a sudden, a mirror shatters and Cole like falls down and Brahms is revealed. Brahms is revealed. It turns out Brahms is alive. He's been alive this whole time. He's been living in the walls for 20 years and he is now a grown mama's boy. And my first
Yep.
thought when I
And
saw him was, God, I bet he stinks so bad.
um oh my gosh. Somebody who's been living in the walls isn't getting deodorant, showers,
Yeah,
probably
he's not
living off
shaving.
yeah.
He's
He's
not
living off of the
shaving.
food and
He
leftovers
he
and
had a
stuff, I'm
full
sure, but
beard, yeah.
oh yeah.
Oh, it's rough looking. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he's got the
Um,
cool mask. He's got like a cool
porcelain looking
Brahms
mask.
mask. Mhm.
Yes, which I suspect was custom made for him as well, uh, which is
Had to
fun.
be.
It
Yeah,
had to
I
be. So it's
love
like that the doll had to be custom made, that mask had to be custom made. They have the money, it's fine.
yeah,
But
and then that makes me even more curious about where it came from because it's like obviously the same person made it and it had to be
yeah,
custom made. Where it's like, so it's like, what can we make for you at the doll store today? And they're like, oh, just something simple. We want this little doll boy, and we also want a matching like doll face mask for just normal reasons.
also keep in mind that as he grew up, his head got bigger, so they had to get
Yes.
another mask once he got older.
Unless they were just
So,
like, you're just gonna have to grow into it, Brahmsy, okay? It's just gonna be a little awkward for a few years, but
something tells me Brahms wouldn't have put up with that shit.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Yeah. So, Brahms is revealed, and, he gets into a little fight, a scuffle
Yes.
with
Yeah, real
everybody.
shuffle. Yes.
Yes, with everybody. He starts to go after Cole, and surprisingly, Malcolm tries to defend him. He's like, "Dude, just let him do his thing over there. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's
Boy,
fine."
meanwhile, you guys get the hell out of there.
Exactly. He's distracted. Go. But
Hmm.
yeah, Brahms is like shoving Malcolm away, and he ends up stabbing Cole in the neck with a piece of mirror. Gorgeous.
Oh, it's so cool. I do like that kill.
Yeah. So, Greta and Malcolm run into the walls or whatever, and they find where he's been sleeping, and he's got a cute little doll too.
Yeah, it's a Greta doll.
It's a Greta doll. It's a Greta doll. And she also finds the letter that Mr. and Mrs. H wrote. And I wrote down my favorite line, which was, "The girl is yours to care for now."
Oh man, and that just adds like so much like, you're like, "Oh wow, so the H's, basically got this girl for him and now they're like, "All right, well, now you have a girl to take care of and we're out of here. We also feel
We're
so
out.
guilty and ashamed of everything. We're just going to walk into the sea."
Yeah. Because that makes it better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They specifically chose her. They made sure that he approved all this stuff. And it's like, ew, ew.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's weird. They like trafficked her to him like
Basically, yeah, it's so gross.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, Brahms ends up knocking out Malcolm, and Greta ends up getting away, right? They have this really cool chase sequence, and then Brahms is yelling after her to come back or he will kill Malcolm.
Yeah.
And like a dumbass, she comes back.
Yeah.
He's known him for
Uh,
like a month.
I know. Admittedly, that I feel like I'd have to go back if somebody who's like kind of on my side, I guess, is getting like, like horribly killed by this person who's lived in the walls in this really isolated place. I'm like, I mean, if I don't go, he's definitely gonna die. Definitely. So it'd be hard.
Probably.
It'd be a hard
Probably.
thing. My instinct would be to go back, but that's just
Yeah.
yeah, but it'd be
Yeah,
hard.
my instinct would definitely be to go back, but on the other hand, in my head, I'd be like, "Hey, this is what happens when you don't give me all of the information at once to make an informed decision. Now
There,
you
it's
go
like,
pay for it."
yeah, we could have avoided this whole situation if you would have just been honest.
Interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, make of that what you
Let that
will.
be a lesson to all of you, all of us. Just be
Yes.
honest and put all the info out there right away.
Yes, so we can avoid this situation.
Yeah, people be living in the walls.
So she comes back and she pretends to be willing to play by the rules again, right?
Yes.
So we have this really fun moment where she's putting him into bed and, you know, he's in his PJs or whatever, and she's putting him to bed and she's like, "No kiss tonight. You weren't very good. You weren't a very good boy today." And he's like, "No, I get a kiss."
Yeah.
Yeah, she gets a kiss, all right. He really like grabs her and kisses her on the lips with the mask and everything, which is good that there's a barrier, but still.
Yes, there's a
Um,
barrier, but it's still not great. It's not good
it's
at all.
it's not good. He hasn't had
It's
time
not
to
good.
practice currently. Um,
No.
he has not been practicing on his Greta doll.
I was just gonna
Uh,
say, he might have been practicing on the Greta doll, but he's
probably practicing on the Greta doll.
anyway.
Yeah.
Because
But she stabs him. She's smart-ish. She
she
stabs
does.
him. And he, like Michael Myers strength, throws her against the wall from a very interesting angle. I'd like to know how he managed that.
Same.
Um, he's not skipping arm day.
No. Oh no.
Yeah,
I mean, I
he's
guess what
definitely not.
else do you do when you're living in malls and living the secret life in malls as a doll man?
The Secret Life of Brahms.
Yeah.
Oh, I need that
Oh,
television show.
yeah, I'll watch.
Same. And we have this epic final showdown, and then she ends up just knocking Brahms out, and her and Malcolm escape, and it's, they drive off into the sunset, but Brahms is still alive because we see him right before the credits roll, we see him fixing the doll.
Yeah.
And he
Very
doesn't have to hide
skilled.
anymore.
Doesn't have to, and I will say, very skilled with the doll repair because that thing was shattered into pieces and it looked pretty damn good.
It looked really good. Yeah.
Maybe they had several made. Maybe they had like a few custom ones made.
That actually isn't a bad idea. Like, that would make sense.
Yeah, because I mean, first of all, like dolls break, they do. So it's like, I mean, it would make sense to have a few backups.
Yeah, I also feel like the way that they managed the doll over time for the past 20 years, they've been getting him dressed and moving him around and all this stuff. I feel like his hair would have gotten messed up really bad. So I feel like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I've seen older dolls and they don't look that good. So maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe there's just they're just like, make us like 10. Okay, we want 10 of this doll. We also need this mask in different sizes, child to adult.
It's not suspicious at all.
Not just for normal reasons. I'm
Yes.
sure you get this all the time at the doll store.
We are reenacting Phantom of the Opera.
Yes, and we need every age mask
Yeah.
that you got.
Yes. All right, Jamie, let's get hit with some fun facts.
Okay, now I will say, unfortunately, there was not a whole lot of fun facts I could find on this one.
Really?
There were some, so I do have some, and some of them are
Okay.
pretty fun here. Okay, so apparently the cast had a lot of fun with the doll. They prank each other with it often. They would, sit it around and scare their castmates and, fellow actors. So much so that somebody actually got so scared of it, they like flung it away from them and it broke. So the crew had to make another one. They had to make a replacement Brahms doll. So that was fun. Now, originally, this movie was going to be called In a Dark Place. And originally, it was going to star Jane Levy or
Ooh.
Levy. And she's really cool. Love her,
She's
right?
great, yeah.
Yeah, and so interestingly, this movie was originally going to be a little bit different. This is a PG-13 movie. I don't think we
Yes.
put that out there yet, but
Yeah.
originally it was leaning more towards an R, the original script. So there
Ooh.
were some things that they cut out or like cut back on seriously, and we were talking about like there was some creepiness there with Brahms' obsession with her, and that is really like the main thing that they kind of like backed off of, where like
Ah.
so the original script apparently had like a nude scene after the shower where she walks around nude, and Brahms is like watching her and stuff. They played that down, they didn't do that. And then
Yeah.
like the whole thing with like the kiss, the original script made that a lot more graphic. He's like fondling her, groping her,
Oh,
like the kind of like full context that they were originally looking at is that he was trying to take her to sexually assault her and stuff. So that was
gotcha.
kind of originally what the script was looking like. And a lot of things just seemed to change about this movie. They changed the title, they ended up doing a different actress. I might be wrong about this. I think it mentioned they got a different production company, so
Gotcha.
they just ended up cutting that stuff down, and making like kind of like the sexual nature of stuff, like kind of took that out a little bit. You get a sense of it a little bit, but
Yeah, I think it worked in their favor, to be honest. Like, I don't think
I
you
do
need
too.
any of that. Like, I think that the hint of it is creepier than seeing that violence personally for me. So,
Yeah, I don't think it was a bad move either, but
yeah.
thought that was interesting. Another one of the things that changed in the original script, apparently, she kills Brahms
Okay. I don't know how I
instead
feel
of
about that.
yeah, instead of him living at the end. She
Yeah.
kills him for sure.
I like it better
Um,
that he lives, I think.
Yeah, I think so
Yeah.
too. It's a fun little thing down there. And
Yeah.
honestly, that's all my fun facts. There weren't that many
Okay.
of them that were that interesting, but I do think
That's
like the
fair.
original script and how it kind of changed, and that Jane Levy, or however you say her last name, was originally the
That's
kind of
interesting.
actress. Yeah.
I didn't know that, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, shall we get into rating this movie?
Let's do it.
All right. Jamie, what did you think of this movie?
Okay, so this one doesn't get as high of a rating as I usually get. That's not because I don't like it. Like, I think it's really beautifully shot. Like, it's
Mhm.
a treat to see. The cinematography work is really beautiful. Like I said, there's some standout shots that are just like, that's just a good shot. It's properly exposed. There's a lot of dark scenes, but you can see everything.
Yeah.
It's never a case of that. I really did like the end. I thought that was fun. It kind of like dials up the action, at the end there. All that being said, this is one of those more kind of like atmospheric, I guess, kind of movies, I would say. It's not like super in your face scary. There's some good jump scares. It's got a creepy vibe. I definitely like movies like this, but it's probably not like the first thing I'm going to gravitate towards. So for me,
Yeah.
I'm going to give it like a 6. I think it's a really cool movie. It's just not necessarily, what I would like choose most of the time. But
For
I think
sure.
it's interesting. The doll itself is like so beautiful. And
Yeah.
I do appreciate that it's not like your typical doll movie, because most doll horror movies, it's more like a Chucky kind of thing, which I love
Yeah.
Chucky.
Love
But,
Chucky.
I do too, and I love dolls, so I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of like the slasher doll, but I do like that they did something different with this.
Yeah.
And there's like I think the twist on it is pretty cool, especially the role that the H's played. I thought that was like
Yeah.
a cool twist where I'm like, "Ooh, that's dark. I wasn't expecting that." Like
Yeah.
they set her up. Like I was not
Yeah.
expecting that.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I also think this is a 6. I don't normally gravitate towards doll movies, not to say I don't like dolls. I love Chucky, I love Annabelle, I love all these things, but, um, I just thought that this was a great movie. They did something unique with it. They had, like, a supernatural element, and you thought that's what you were getting out of it, and then total 180 at the end, and, I think the twist is really clever,
Yeah.
very well written, very beautifully shot. My only thing with it is I feel like I needed more from the supernatural elements. Like, I wanted more of, like,
Same.
I wanted more of less of him, "Oh, he moves, cool." I wanna see more, like, throw me off the scent, what's happening here? Like, have it creepy, like, like,
And
I want you could really amp up the creepiness level of this.
I really like that's such a good point, Nina. I really agree with you. So for me, when you have a movie where and I love movies where it's mostly one person leading the
Yeah,
movie, right? So a
same.
lot of the movie it's really just Greta and Brahms, the doll, and Malcolm too, but there's a lot of
Sure.
moments where it's just her and Brahms. And I think for those types of movies, because like I think of House of the Devil, a babysitter
Mm,
gets an assignment that she wasn't expecting, and a lot of
great
the time
movie.
she's love that movie so much. A lot of the time she's just in that house by herself. So with these types of movies, I really think the key is to like show the person's like thought process and like them questioning themselves, them like
Yeah.
seeing strange things happening. And I just didn't see that as much as I would have liked in this movie. And like
Yeah.
having more supernatural things happen that builds up the tension that I think was kind of missing through a lot of this. It's kind of like a quiet movie, if that makes sense, because
It
you
is.
you don't
Yeah.
have that tension building, and
Yeah.
you only get little glimpses of her kind of being like, "Wait, am I losing my mind? Like, is this doll
Yeah.
really like alive? Like, is there a spirit here?" I would have liked to see more of her mental like kind of breakdown, I
Oh, I
guess.
wanna see her losing her shit. Like, I just wanna see
Yes.
her in tatters, and
Hmm.
they could have done so much with this and just thrown us completely off the scent with the supernatural stuff and really amped that up, and it
Yep.
just felt lacking. But, like, other than that, it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed revisiting it. I It's not what I
Yeah.
would gravitate towards when I'm looking for something supernatural or a doll movie, but
Yep.
it's fun to throw on for somebody who's never seen it. And, like, the person I watched it with, they were entirely engaged the whole time, and they don't particularly like these kinds of movies. And it being such a slow burn, I was very impressed that it held their attention the whole time. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome. And again, I think that the ending is really cool. I like movies that kind of build up that way. Again, House of the Devil, I think is a really good
yeah,
example where it kind of has a slow build, and then you get like a moment, you get some like moments that are really like, "Wah," and then that last chunk, you're like, "Oh, whoa, shit, things have really amped up here." So I
yeah,
I love when a movie is paced like that. But yeah, I
yeah.
think they just missed out on some of the tension building up to that.
For sure. But yeah, it's a good movie. I definitely
It
think
is.
you should check it out at least once. But
Agreed.
yeah, lots of fun. If you haven't seen it, check out the second one. It's a little bit different, but
I haven't
kind of
seen the second
similar
one.
too. Brahms is back.
Yeah, I haven't seen the second one. So, after revisiting this, I definitely think I want to just because I want to see where they ended up taking it.
um, it's not the direction I would have expected, but it's interesting. You
Oh.
definitely aren't expecting it.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
It's
Maybe I'll
it's
have to watch it
definitely
then.
I feel like it's more suspenseful. I think it's more
Okay.
suspenseful, and they do a good job with the, supernatural doll thing. It's a lot of fun, but the
Okay.
ending, I wasn't crazy about the ending personally, but
All right.
yeah,
I'll watch it and I'll let you know. Uh,
let me know. And
like, yeah.
yeah, and listeners, let us know what you thought of The Boy Part 1 and Part 2. We'd love to hear from you, and let us know if you agree or disagree with our opinions. We wanna hear all of that, so yeah. And until next time, just remember, if you ever find yourself in a horror movie, don't have sex.
Don't do drugs and totally don't die.
Yeah,
See you
we'll
next
s
time.
bye.